Nakikita niyo po ba yung screen? May senior po ako sa screen, nakikita niyo?
Opo, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Salamat. Okay, so before we start the class, so may I request to open camera for attendance? Please open your camera for a screenshot of the attendance. Okay, I will take the screenshot now. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So ba tayo ano dito? Puro female ba? Ano bang male dyan? Isa. Jazer John Tamba Perez. Okay, so good afternoon. Good afternoon to each and everyone. So this is the first time I will be your teacher in ALE 01. So entitled Human Behavior in Organization. So first and foremost, let me introduce myself. So I am Andrew M. Trinidad. So I'm teaching for 4 years now at TCC, especially in this is my first time teaching in BSA and BSMA. So mostly I'm teaching at BPA and BS Entrepreneurship. So for our course, it is all about the study of human behavior. This is an elective class, mainly for the students to understand what we meant by human behavior and studying it in order for us to understand what is the benefit of human behavior whenever we are inside the organization. Sooner or later, you will be employed, you will be going to work, you will establish your own business, you will become bosses of your own company, then it is a must for you to understand and to know how an individual behave in order to attain the task that is given to them. So that's why human behavior is very, very important in setting up business. Human behavior is very important in interaction with different individuals. And it's very, very important once that you are inside the organization. So it is a saying that a person's behavior differs whenever they are inside the organization. And specifically, if the organization has a culture and an organization has its sets of behavior, so di ba sa accounting, sabi nga, yung organization is a different set entity. May buhay. So, meron pong behavior yan, may culture. Once that this interacts to the behavior of an individual, then conflict will arise. So it's better, it is safe for you to understand how to control that conflict and how to know the behavior of such an individual. So let me share you the screen, my screen. Sorry. So to give you an overview, sino po dito yung hindi pa nakaka-browse ng ating course? Wala pa? Lahat naka-enroll na? Hello? May kausap ba ako? Parang wala ah.
Hello po.
Hello, may kausap po ba ako?
Yes po, sir.
Wala yata. Ulitin ko po, Tagalog. Ang atin pong subject ay tungkol sa human behavior. Ano po ba yung human behavior sa Tagalog? Nga, tanongin ko kayo. Ikaw, Miss De Los Santos. Total, ikaw lang sumagot eh. Mukhang tayo lang dalawa mag-uusap.
Oh, sir, yung parang gawi po at pag-uugali po ng isang tao.
Gawi, pag-uugali. Ayan. Ano pa? Ano pang Tagalog sa behavior?
Paano po kumilos?
Yeah. John Marco Tenorio. Ano ba?
Parang kung paano po kumilos?
Pagkilos. Yeah. Another term in Tagalog is pagkilos. So, ugali, pagkilos, paggalaw. So, yan po ang tinatawag na behavior. So, ulitin ko. Ang subject natin ay para malaman ang tamang pagkilos, paggalaw ng nararapat para makuha, ma-attain ang isang task matapos ang isang task. So, it is your behavior that I will be observing in order for you to finish the task at hand, and the task is for you to have a passing grade. If I ask question, you do not answer, then it is right for me to say that you do not have a behavior. Diba? Logic lang yan. Answering on a simple question is a type of behavior. You can't answer, then you do not have a behavior. Naku po, Diyos ko pong mahabagin. Paano ba tayo niyan? Behavior lang ang pinag-uusapan eh. Hindi nyo pa mapakita. So, paano yan? Di babagsak kayo. Maulit, tanong, nababrowse nyo po ba yung ating course?
Yes po, sir.
Opo, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Yan, 5 na. 5 lang may behavior. So, kung po yung hindi nakaka-browse. So, kung wala, ay tuloy po tayo sa share. Yan. So mahilig po tayong mag-share eh. Tandaan nyo po, itong course na to, may mga sharing po tayong mangyayari at the end of the course. You do not share something, I will not share you grade. Yan, para maganda, di ba? C. Nakikita niyo po ba yung nasa screen?
Opo, sir.
Yes,
Yes po.
Ayan. Human behavior in organization. So, meron po tayo, for this term, meron tayong 4 modules. Sakto po yan for 8 weeks. So, ang ating pong unang module is overview of human behavior in organization. Under that is 1 assignment and a quiz. For our second module, it will be individual differences, mental ability. So this is pertaining to intelligence, personality, learning, and perceptions. These are the things that are being watched upon whenever we talk of behavior of an individual. So yan po yung may mga kinalaman kung bakit ang isang nilalang, ang isang individual ay nagbe-behave the way they do. At bakit sa loob ng organisasyon ay nagbabago yung kanyang behavior. So dito po sa module number 2, meron po tayo diyang assignment ulit, another quiz, and an activity. So ito po, yung activity po na yan, it will include graded recitation. Okay? So pertaining to siguro personality or pertaining to learning process. Isa-isa tatanungin ko kayo with regards to personality and with regards to learning. So, at the end of the course, malalaman po natin, as you grow older, you will eventually know the behavior that you are going into. So, hindi po pwede na hindi mo alam ba't ka nagbe-behave ng ganyan. Especially if you become professional someday. So, at the end of the course, maintindihan yan. So when you take MBA, Masters in Business Administration or Business Management, HBO is a major subject. Okay, so for the module 3, values, attitudes, job satisfaction, and motivation. So another factors that molds an individual, that molds behavior of individual. So dito, meron po tayong quiz and another group work. And for communication, so ang ating module number 4 is another group work. So yung group work po is mga case analysis which you will present in class. Okay, so yan. And then, syempre, midterm exam. After that, and work teams and groups, leadership. So, hindi ko pa po inilalagay yung iba. So, dyan po iikot muna ang ating mga pag-aaralan sa subject na to. So, let's go now to the first, which is the overview of human behavior. So, let's open the module. So actually, meron po kayong assignment. So to be passed on, so baguhin ko na lang po yung date. Gawin ko po yung dates. Open natin yan. Kailan ba yung assignment na yan? So ang due date po September 6. So baguhin ko na lang po yung date. Gawin ko po ang due date ay September 10. That will be on Saturday. Okay, so baguhin ko na lang po yan. Okay, let's start now to study the overview of human behavior. So nakikita niyo po ba?
Yes po, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes po.
Yan, marami na sumasagot. Takot ding masabihan na walang behavior. Okay. Okay. So a person for so long Okay? A person for so long tried to attempt to do things to become productive. He did it individually or by means of a group. Some succeed, some failed. But it is clear that the quality and quantity of the output of the individual's groups depend heavily on the actions of an individual. Okay? So meaning to say, a person or an individual who's trying to finish the task at hand, who's trying to achieve the objectives they have, is always being dictated by the different factors that surrounds them. Be as it may, the environment, be as it may, the socio-economic impacts that they belong, and hindi natin mapapasubalian. Diba? We cannot deny the facts that behavior of an individual has something to do with the way they try to achieve things. Although hindi po natin yan aaminin, hindi po natin yan sasabihin na, ano ba kinalaman ng behavior ko? Ano ba kinalaman ng personality ko? But the way we move, the way we present ourselves, the way we wanted to achieve a certain task, the way we wanted to attain the goals that we have, our behavior dictates that. Our personality dictates that. And the environment that we live in, the social challenges that we are into affect our behavior. So it is just right for us to study human behavior and organizational behavior. So ano po ba ibig sabihin ng human behavior? It is defined as the physical action of a person that can be seen or heard with his thoughts, feelings, emotions, and sentiments. The person exhibits behavior similar or different when he is in or out of the organization. Human behavior in organization is more appropriately referred to as organizational behavior or OB. So, katulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina, every physical actions that a certain individual exerts has something to do with their behavior. Once that the behavior of an individual interacts with another behavior, then there is what we call an output. An output can be good for that individual or can be bad for that individual. So, it is right for uh, a certain organizations to study the behavior of their employees, the behavior of those who are part of their groups in order to make adjustments in attaining the goals by way of not prohibiting such behavior of their employees. So ano ba yung tinatawag na organizational behavior? Yan. Ano po ba yung tinatawag na organizational behavior? Organizational behavior is defined as the study of human behavior in organization, of the interaction between individuals and the organization, and of the organization itself. So, organizational behavior is the interaction of the individuals or the employees inside the organization, the culture and behavior of the organization itself. Once it interacts with one another, will create conflict, will create negativity, or will create a positive sign on the organization. Be as it may, kailangan pong pag-aralan yung behavior ng both sides in order to create a positive approach in finishing the task or attaining the goals. So what are the goals of studying human behavior or organizational behavior? So there are different goals. Number one is to explain behavior. Number two is Umagal na. To explain behavior. Number 2 is to predict behavior. Number 3 is to control behavior. So these are the reasons why do we need to study. So these are the importance, these are the aims of organization or studying. Wait lang po. Balik ko lang po ulit yung screen. Ala, bumagal na si internet. Converge, ano ba yan? So nakikita niyo po uli. Wala na akong picture.
Yes po, sir.
Yan. So the goals of the studying organizational behavior is to explain behavior. So OB needs to systematically describe how people behave under a variety of different circumstances or conditions. Pangalawa, to predict behavior. Parang mahirap naman yan because we cannot really predict behavior. So, ano bang ibig sabihin yan? In order to provide on the said behavior, if it's for productivity and intense control, if it tries disruptive or less productive employees, ayun naman pala, to predict para malaman natin kung ano yung ibibigay natin sa isang empleyado if it is disruptive or not. Letter C, to control behavior. In order to control the behavior to have an effective performance of the employee. So what are the different elements? Ano ba yung mga kinakailangan once that we study organizational behavior? So there are different elements. Siyempre, number 1, people. Organization are always composed of individuals with varying differences. So you cannot say that it is an organization if there's no people, di ba? The next one is structure. The formal relationship of people in the organization. Describe how task is being done and how it is being divided, grouped, and coordinated. So in the structure of organization, minsan, paano tinatanggap ng empleyado ang structure, ang division of labor, paano tinatanggap ng isang empleyado ang the way the organization has been supervised. So, medyo lumalabas din po yung behavior dyan. Technology, the combination of resources, knowledge, and techniques with which affect the task to be accomplished. Okay? So, the different, the change in technology has something to do with the way we finish the task or achieve our goals. Then, because of this technology, naapektuhan din yung behavior ng isang individual. And then, the last one is environment. The different institutions, the different forces that affect the organization. These are some of the benefits of studying organizational behavior. Number one, development of people skills. So sabi ko nga kanina, kung ayaw nyo pong maniwala na personality, perception, and your behavior has something to do with how you act, hindi po totoo yun. So ang totoo, it all begins with right behavior, good perception, and good personality in order to attain our objectives in life. So because of studying behavior, therefore you will develop some skills, you will develop some knowledge through what we call learning. Letter B, personal growth. Siyempre, once that you develop some skills, then you will use these skills in order to advance yourself, then there would be a personal growth. Number three, another benefits is enhancement of organizational and individual effectiveness. So it is being done, studying behavior is being done in order to know how to make individuals or employees effective in their pursuits of the task at hand, finishing the task at hand in the organization. And the last one, sharpening and refinement of common sense. Kasi kapag medyo repetitive na yung ginagawa natin, paulit-ulit, then there's a tendency na hindi na natin gamitin yung ating utak. Hindi natin gamitin yung ating mental ability. So that's why by studying the different behavior of an individual, it can sharpen and refine our common senses. Now, saan nga ba nanggaling yung organizational behavior? So, tandaan natin, most of the time, things existed because of experiments. So, nagkakaroon ng mga pag-aaral at kapag nagkaroon sila ng conclusion on that experiments, therefore, it becomes a theory. Once that this theory has been postulated, ito na po yung mga sinusundan ng bawat isa in order to attain such an objective. So what are the origins of OB? So there are two origins of OB through what we call theories. So the first theory is the human relation approach, and the other origin is the theory of the personality approach. So yung una, human relation approach, this has something to do with how people interact with one another. So the social benefits that an individual gain in order to attain their objectives is being experimented in order to know the different behaviors that will enable them to use in order to finish a task. Under the human relation approach, there are these two theory, the scientific management theory and the relations theory of Elton Mayo. So, yung relations theory, yan yata yung Hawthorne effect. Then, number two, the personality approach. There are three. The Freud's model, the Simon Freud psychoanalytic theory, the behavioral approach of B.F. Skinner. Ayan po yung tinatawag na conditioning o operant conditioning, if I'm not mistaken. And the next one is the humanist approach of Abraham Maslow. So represented by his hierarchy of needs theory. So ano po ba yung scientific management theory? So pag-aralan natin isa-isa yung mga beginning or origins of organizational behavior. So ito yung socialist approach. Yan. Through Hawthorne study and scientific management study. So mag-start tayo sa scientific management postulated by by Frederick W. Taylor, regarded as the father of scientific management. He pursued an analysis and experiments to increase workers' output. He did it by assigning repetitive tasks to different individuals to complete it for more productivity. So according to Taylor, by way of a repetitive tasks that are being assigned to an individual, there will be more output. Saan ba pumapasok yung pag-aaral ng behavior doon? So nakita ni Taylor that people behave the way they do once that there is a repetitive work, there is a given work that is being scheduled to them. So kung ito lang po yung gagawin mo, tuwing papasok ka halimbawa sa trabaho, ito lang yung gagawin mo, then there would be a chance na mas mabilis at mas madami yung output. So by means of the scientific theory of Frederick Taylor, so hinati-hati niya po yung iba't ibang aspect ng work, tapos ibinigay niya yan sa mga empleyado niya, at nakita niya na kapag hinati-hati po yung mga work, dumadami yung output. So yan po yung scientific management theory. The next one is the Hawthorne study. Advocated by Elton Mayo, he conducted an experiment at the Hawthorne electric plant to determine if the environment has an effect on the productivity. It is concluded that the social environment of people has more effect than their environment. So why it is called the Hawthorne effect? Ano po ba yung Hawthorne effect? They say the experiment concludes that individuals modify a certain behavior once they are observed or being singled out for a special treatment. So this study of Elton Mayo, parang mga 1930s pa to Industrial Revolution. And up to this day, totoong-totoo po yung theory na yan. Ngayon po ay computer di ba? Revolution na ngayon. Yan. Hindi na industrial revolution. But still, whenever we talk of people, mabenta tong Hawthorne effect study. Anong sabi dyan? Individuals modify a certain behavior once they are observed. Totoo naman, di ba? Kapag hindi nakatingin ang boss, anong ginagawa? Petics. Di ba? Kapag ikaw ay tinitingnan, pakitang gilas, maganda output, maraming nagagawa. It is very, very true nowadays. At kahit noon pa man, kapag pinipraise mo yung iyong empleyado, if you will give them a special treatment, they will produce more. Kesa doon sa empleyado na lagi mong pinapagalitan. So, it is based on experiment. Sino ba dito nagtatrabaho na? Meron ba dito nagtatrabaho na? Di ba totoong-totoo yan? Kapag wala yung manager, petics. Kapag nandyan yung manager, ang bilis gumawa. Parang alam niya lahat ang kanyang gagawin. Di ba? So, that's Hawthorne study. Then the next one is the theory of behaviorism. A theory that suggests that the person can be trained to behave according to the wish of the master. Okay? So kaya nagkakaroon ng mentorship, coaching, it's because of this theory. Sabi dyan, whatever the mentors wishes on their subordinates to do, the behavior of the mentors will be copied. So yan po yung ibig sabihin niya. Then the next one, pinanggalingan po ng organizational behavior is the theory of operant conditioning. Suggests that people tends to behave based on the rewards given to them. Ito pang isa. Totoo po itong theory na ito. A positive reinforcement will always lead into a repetition of a desired behavior. So that's why it's called operant conditioning. It's because whenever there are reinforcement that are being given to a certain individual, their behavior varies. If it's a positive reinforcement, good behavior. If it's a negative reinforcement, sometimes or most of the time it is the equivalent is a bad behavior. So very, very true today. Then the next, the psychoanalytic theory of Simon Freud. Simon Freud believes that the major part of people's behavior is due to irrational motives that is tacked onto their subconscious mind. So, ibig sabihin ni Simon Freud, the father of psychoanalytic theory, that we all behave based on our irrational thinking. Naniniwala ba kayo dyan? And that irrationality comes out whenever we are on the sleep. Because yung irrationality natin nandun daw sa subconscious mind. Active po yung subconscious mind kapag tayo ay natutulog. So, there's a tendency na paggising mo sa umaga, iba yung gusto mong mangyari kaysa sa ginawa mo kahapon. Bad trip ka, moody ka, iba yung gusto mong gawin ngayon. It's because it is being dictated by your subconscious mind. So, that's irrational motives kung tawagin. So, ewan ko na lang kung may maniniwala dito kay Freud. Pero, that's based on experiment eh. So, the psychoanalytic theory of Simon Freud is being used whenever we cure mental illness. Yan. Those mentally disturbed people, they behave because most of the time their irrational thinking takes over their rational thinking. So that's why they behave the way that they do. Kaya wag po kayo magtataka kung minsan nakakagawa po kayo ng mga bagay-bagay na hindi niyo naman alam bakit niyo nagawa. Diba? So sabi, impulse. Yan. Sabi, because someone dictated you to do so. Yan. Bakit ko nga ba nagawa yan? And then, diba? Behave this way today, CC later. Diba? Meron mga ganyang kasabihan tayo. Ba't ko nga ba nagawa yun? So it's because of this theory. There are really things that are in our subconscious mind that dictates. And sometimes, this irrational thinking and irrational motives takes over our minds. That's why we do such behavior. Then, the hierarchy of needs theory. Advocated by Abraham Maslow, he says that a person's productivity is manifested by weighing their needs. And once needs are satisfied, they will look for another set of needs until they achieve their full potentials. So according to Abraham Maslow, people behave by way of satisfying their needs. Until such time that these needs are not being satisfied, their behavior will become constant. Okay? So, totoo po yan. Hanggat hindi pa nasa-satisfied yung gusto mo, yung behavior mo sa mga bagay-bagay na nandyan sa harap mo, pare-parehas lang yan. Once that a certain needs has been satisfied, the individual tends to look for another set of needs. And then their behavior becomes again varies. Mag-iiba na uli yan. So that's the reason why kailangan alamin mo ngayon yung needs, kung nasa na ba yung needs ng mga subordinates mo. Diba? In order to know and give them the satisfaction they want in order to alter their behavior. Okay? So the next is in studying human behavior, we cannot deny the fact to study ethics and ethical standards in organizations. So we will continue to discuss that by next meeting. So for now, dyan po muna tayo hanggang sa origins of organizational behavior. Okay? So do you have any questions? So stop ko na pa yung presenting. So, do you have any questions? With regards to the topic that we discussed, wala naman. Hello, may kausap pa ba ako? Mga nag-isa na lang ako dito ah.
Wala po, sir.
Wala po kayong tanong.
Wala naman po, sir.
Sir.
Okay. So, sa pinakita ko po kanina, there will be quiz. So, the quiz will be on September 10. And there will be 2 assignments that to be passed on September 10. Assignments 1 and assignment 2. Okay. So, the recitation, the activity na nakita nyo rin po kanina, siguro we will meet face-to-face on September 17. Yan po yun. At dyan magkakaroon tayo ng recitation. And discuss ko din on that day on how to present the case analysis that will be given to you. Now, for the case analysis, so since it will be groupings, I will give you the right to choose who will be your groups. Yan. Who will be your member pala, sorry. Who will be your members. So since you are, ilan ba? 18? 18 lang ba talaga kayo?
Yes po, sir.
Nakalagay lang dito, enrolled 18. So 18. So there will be 6 groups with 3 members. So pili na po kayo kung sinong gusto yung ka-member. At tatlo-tatlo lang para mapalabas natin yung mga behavior nyo. Tama-tama yan, 3. Yung isa pro, yung isa con, yung isa taga-awat. Ayan, baka mag-away-away kayo. Kasi kung 4, baka yung isa taga-tanga na lang. Ang hirap naman nun, di ba? May taga-tanga kayong kasama. So, tama na po yung 3 sa isang grupo. So, there will be 6. So, bahala na po kayo kung sinong mga gusto nyo mga kagrupo. Then, the case study will be given to you once that we meet face-to-face. So, ano po ba yung mga case study niyan? So, yan po ay base na rin sa mga topics na dinidiscuss natin on our course. So, it may be personality, it may be motivation, it can be communication. So, at least 3 siguro. And you will discuss and present that case study analysis face-to-face also. Excuse me. Okay, do you have any question pa po?
Sir, may tanong lang po ako.
Yeah?
Yung sa case analysis po, ay case study po, yung groupings po nun, pagka, kunwari po, magkakaroon po ulit nun, yun na lang din po ulit yung grupo.
Yes, hanggang matapos po yan. Hanggang matapos po tayo ng course. Hanggang sa module number 8 po ay kayo ang magkakagroup. Kung gagawa po ako kung meron po tayong activity that needs a larger grouping, siguro tsaka ako na lang pagsasamahin. Pero for now, yan na po hanggang matapos. Sa lahat ng cases, yan na po hanggang matapos.
Thank you po.
Okay, any more questions? So kung may tanong po, bukas hanggang anong oras po yung activity? Kasama ba kayo doon?
Yes po, sir. 3 to 5 p.m. po yung ano.
Alas 3 hanggang alas 5?
Opo, sir.
Ayan, klase naman natin ni 5:30. Okay, sige. Meron kasi akong klase bukas eh. Ganong oras din. 3 to 6. Ay, 3 to 6 ba? 2 pala. 2 to 5 pala. Okay? So, if you don't have any more questions with regards to our discussion, wala na, 1, 2, 3, wala. So, please open again the camera for the screenshot of attendance. Tama ba yan? Rain Sydney Villapando, Kate Ann De Los Santos, Jasser John Perez, Rose Ann Kua, Lawrence, Julian, Magtibay, Cherry Alexis. Anong apelido mo, Miss Cherry Alexis?
Bandarlite po.
Vanderlipe. Clarice Villegas, Mary Rose Lac, John Marco Tenorio, Kathleen Casabal, Rose Ann Nosidal, correct? Rose Ann. Kate Ann Laresma, Kia Claire Malaluan, Diana Marie Almendras, Patricia Ann Maderaso. Nasa Macdo ka ba, Patricia? Micaela Dizon, Mark Daniel, correct? Spirito. And okay. And Jacqueline Aguila. So, sino hindi natawag? So, wala siya sa screen ko kung hindi natawag. Okay? So, I will take the screenshot now. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much for attending the class. I'll see you again next meeting. Bye-bye. Keep
Thank you
safe
po,
lang.
Thank you po,
Thank
sir.
you po.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po, sir.